Hey guys, it's Jim Downs with Motorhome Rehab Ranch, and as I told you the last video to you guys that follow me weekly, that it was just too darn hot out there to to work on the bedroom and the coach. But I tell you what I did: I cut it down in small pieces. So what we're going to talk about today is the blanket locker in the bedroom. Okay, so come on in here and let's talk about what we're going to show you here. Okay, so here's JG. Thank you, JG, for putting up with me tearing you apart like I am. You remember last video we took down the headliner cap. We took down the headliner cap, the screws across here. Took off the trim right there. Then pulling the cap down, we accessed this, got all that insulation out of there. Showed you how nasty that was on both sides. This side too. So now we're going to go after the bottom. Now, as I showed you before, we had a panel across here, and a 3/4 inch plywood panel sitting on these blocks. This is the original wood base, and that's in pretty good shape. We're going to leave that. So my plywood for the base of the bed sat on these blocks. This is what we're going after. And actually, the wood grain, it's a nice soft wood grain. It's a good feel to it. But as you're going to see in a minute, there are some things. My idea was I wanted to reuse these pieces because I like the wood grain. And to be honest with you, to try to match wood grains like this, 50-year-old wood grain, it's almost impossible. So what you're going to be, all that you're going to be able to do is use the wood grains that are viable. So on this thing, first thing you do, you pull out the outlet that's here. This is a real nice little area here. When the bed comes up, it comes right up to here. I brought the bed where the top of the bed comes right to this surface right here. So you can put your pillow on this blanket locker. So it's a nice place to have an outlet, maybe a 12-volt outlet and a USB plug or something like that. So that's what we're going to be doing when we put this back together. But taking these 4 screws out showed me a real problem. You look right there. You can see how the wood is pulled up, the laminates are pulled up. So we're looking at some damage. Looks pretty good. I mean, it still works and everything. And up until I pull all the stuff out, we were using this. Now, across the front, right across the front here are 4 screws, Phillips head screws. You take those out. Then there are 2 screws right under here. You can see this had been taken out before and other people had put other screws in there. There are 4 screws right there. And that's it. Pulls away. Now, you look hard. Let me blow this up. By the way, these pictures are going to be on the Patreon site. This right here is a 1/2 inch rubber gimp. In '73, they did not know what the relationship would be of the loose body to the interior cabinet work. So everywhere, right along there, right along here, everywhere it was built out to be a 1/2 inch away from the body. So this is a wood gimp. They found out after the first year that wasn't a problem, and they did away with that, made everything fit a lot tighter. But in '73, everything had a 1/2 inch gap. So here we are. We've got the cabinet down. You can see the cabinet down here. Going across here is this plumbing. You got plumbing. You got wiring in here. Right here is the switch to the light to the propane compartment. Remember, this is the top of the propane compartment, right? Now, this is not going to be a full restoration. I'm going to leave this in here. Okay, but now we've got this panel here. So what's behind that panel? Nothing. You can see all we have is blown foam back here. This panel was tucked in behind here and riveted right here with the same headliner trim piece. So when we redo this, this panel can be put in there to stay. Follow what I mean? There's nothing behind it. Everything is running under here. Over here, right here behind there, you can stick your hand in there and you can feel the water heater. But it can't come out because what they want you to do is to lift this panel off to get the water heater out. What you're going to see me do is I'm going to cut this right here like this, big enough to get the water heater out. Because why? My water heater is still working. But I'm going to make this compartment big enough that if I have to change the water heater, I can pull this compartment down, which you saw wasn't that big of a deal. And there'll be a panel here to pull off, and then I can get the water heater out. If you don't do that, you're going to have to pull this big panel out. As the split loom went across the roof, you can see here, this is where one of the clearance lights was tied in. And right there, and right there are the two bullet connectors for the single bullet connectors for the wires. You can see how short they were. So whenever you go change your clearance lights out, don't yank on the wires because it'll unplug these bullet connectors. Then you're going to have to be feeding coat hanger over to the next hole. No. What you want to do is to cut the wire as short as you can on the clearance light. As you see here, I tied in bullet connectors to the original wires and then made them long and stuffed them down in. That way you're not disconnecting any of the wiring. Make sense? Now this back panel right over here is next. Remember I talked before that we wanted to use this panel because I like that color. Well, we can't do it. I got it out and there's a crack, there's a rip in it right there. Right there. So we're not going to do that. I'm going to use, matter of fact, if you look, this glue, they held that on there with liquid nails. It was just glued on. So pull that off. I'm going to scrape the liquid nails off here. This is as far as I want to go. Because this panel, as you see, is on top of this panel. But this panel goes down below where the propane tank is, and it's way down in there. Now, I could take it all apart. I could take all the propane out and all this. But as you remember, I had these uprights that held the bed. Taking all this out, I had to put all that back in. I don't want to do that. And I can get to either however I'm going to finish this off, dye it or cover it or whatever from right there, and this too. So this is as far as I'm going to take this restoration. This is not a full job. If you were going to take it all out, you would take out the propane compartment. Now in 73 and 74, the propane compartments were made out of wood. In 75, they made them out of aluminum. They were really solid. In 76, 7, and 8, they were fiberglass. This is wood. In a way, I should take it out, but it is solid, and all the numbers work, so I'm going to leave that in there. So the cabinet is the part that you can see here. These are the stops. So I'm going to leave this in there. We're going to We're going to redo that, re-dye that. This will be out of the way. You look at this though, check this out. My water tank is an original GM water tank. You believe that? It's got a little bit of a leak on it, but I think I can fix it. You heard that one before, right? 50-year-old holding tank. I should take it out and go away, but it is working. So, but you can see I can get to it reasonably easy. So that's what we're going to be doing. So this is what we're going to end up with. I'm going to dye that or cover that in place, cover or dye that in place. The trim is off. Here's the cabinet. Comes out in one piece. Again, 4 screws down the bottom and 3 behind here going into the back wall. And it comes right out. Say, well, it looks pretty good, right? Well, if you look here, the plies are coming apart. So this will be a good pattern. We'll make a new one of these, cover it with, I'm not going to go with wood grain. We're going to have to go with a contrast color of some kind because there's just no way to match that wood grain. No matter how hard you try, you just can't do it. So if the wood grain on the back panel is no good, well, then you're set free. You can do anything you want. But what I'm going to do, this is not a full restoration. I'm going to use this original panels. I'm going to use the side panels. Let's see, where are they? Right there. That's a nice panel, and I've got a rack on there and everything. But we're going to redo all of this around here. Now, in the next video, I'm going to go after the other side. I'm going to break it down, get everything down to where it needs to be, to the bottom, to the root meat, so then I can start building it back up. Make sense? All right. Well, look, I appreciate your time. I hope this is better than than going out there and sweating my brains out. I had a comment to get away from the iPad. I actually got it where I can show it against a full wall, but I got to work on that a little bit. Well, I hope this helps. All these pictures will be on the Patreon site. All right. So the next video, we got one more video to tear down. And then we start putting it back together. Great. Thanks. I hope this helps you a little bit if you're going after your bedroom. Take your time, take it apart, break it down to the root mean. Find out how far you're going to go. This is how far we're going to go on this. All right. Again, thanks for your support. If you feel these are meaningful, become a ranch and go to the front page of Patreon and you sign you up. Great. We'll see you next time.